Do you want to know why starting a club for your child is a great idea? Well, it's good for their social and academic success. I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about building strong family bonds and parenting through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, I'm going to be giving you some tips and suggestions for how you can create a really powerful club for your child. In this video, we're going to talk about clubs and why they're so great for children, and then I'm going to give you the how-to set up a really great club for your child. Children learn a lot by being part of a club. Now, this doesn't mean that they should be in every club that there is or that they should be at clubs and activities all the time. In fact, I definitely think that parents overdo their child's club involvement. They put their children in club sports, clubs for music, clubs for art, school clubs. There's so many clubs and activities that a child could be part of, drama troupes, those types of things. So be careful, be selective, don't join everything, but make sure that you do become part of groups that give your child just what they need for success. So clubs actually are some of the secret tools to creating social and academic successful environments for children. So if you're smart, then you're the one leading out, because if your child joins a club and it turns out to be a club that doesn't have the right type of values or isn't with the right type of peers, you actually could be exposing your child to a powerful environment that is leading your child away from the values and beliefs that you want them to have. When parents choose to set up a club for their children, then the parents get to set up the right environment and they get to select the right peer group. Now, I know this sounds maybe a little bit controlling, but honestly, when you are seeing exactly what your child needs, or maybe you see a gap that your child has that you're hoping a club will fill in, if you're in charge of the club, make it exactly like your child needs. It's not about inclusion. When you create a club or an activity and you're going to invite people to that activity, it's not about including everybody. That's not the principle. The principle that you're following there is meeting a need for someone. You're meeting a need for your child. So if your child has a need, you be the one in charge. Then you'll make sure that the need is met. I am a strong believer in being in charge of activities and clubs for my children. In fact, I spent many, many years doing that in our homeschool community, and I've been part of groups and clubs in the church community as well. Getting involved with what the children are doing is wise. This doesn't mean you can be in charge of every single club, but if you do set up a club, don't you want it to be powerful? Well, let's talk about how to set up a powerful club. But before we do you see that subscribe button? Click on that button now. This channel is dedicated to helping you find the material that you need to create a strong, united family in these perilous times. So by clicking subscribe now, you'll be able to see more content that will hopefully help you draw more strength for your family too. All right, let's go through the how-to then. How do you set up a club? There is a certain formula to club formation that really makes it stick. If you just randomly throw an idea out there but you don't know what you're doing or why you're doing it, the why is even more important than the what. If you don't know why or what, then probably the whole thing is going to fizzle and you won't follow through. Now, first, you do need to ask yourself, okay, what am I capable of as far as time? Now, don't think limiting thoughts, okay? If you've got one afternoon a week, then say to yourself, okay, well, maybe I can put in some time for working on something with a club one afternoon a week. Set the time aside and really do it. Put it together. The first question that you're really going to want to consider as you're forming your club is, what is my child interested in? There you go. So don't just take somebody else's club idea. See if it's really going to fit first. What is my child really interested in? A good friend of mine did this years ago. Her children were so into entrepreneurialism. So she wanted to create a club that was all about being an entrepreneur. She wanted to have the children at the end of the club start businesses. Whether they failed or succeeded didn't matter. She just wanted them to have the experience of starting a business and learning all of the things for starting a business. So she created an entrepreneurial club. So my children love finding out things about the world and geography. Plus, I felt like that was an important part of their education that they weren't really getting a ton of at school. So I decided that for part of their school, I would start a geography club. So we did that. We also did a book club, and this was a family book club. So whole families would read books, get together once a month and discuss those book clubs. We also did a club for boys called Knights of Freedom, where they would sword fight with each other and learn virtues and characteristics of knighthood. They would also learn about inspiring people. We did something called Liberty Girls, where we would learn about certain girls in time periods of history and the strength that they had to have so that we could adopt those strong qualities as young girls and women as well. So many different clubs that we put together. We had Lego construction clubs and all kinds of things, but they didn't all happen at one time, okay? We might have one or two clubs going at a time, but then we would switch those out for other needs that we saw later. So why did I pick Knights of Freedom or Liberty Girls? Well, Knights of Freedom was a great group, especially for my youngest son to step out of his comfort zone. He was a little bit more shy, but this Knights of Freedom group would get him doing something he loved, sword fighting, and do it in a way that was safe and easy, and he could learn about something cool like knights. And then it would get him reading more too, because he definitely needed to read. So I said, what is he interested in? Who might be interested in this as well? So that's another question I'm going to ask myself. Are there other children or other families I know of that might also share this interest? Because if there are other families with the same interest, they're a perfect fit. Then their parents can help with the club, right? Then you don't have to do it yourself, but you can have co-leaders working with you. Ask yourself the question next, what is my end goal? What is the project that I want my children or my child to be able to accomplish after this? Do I want them to have read through a certain number of books? Or do I want them to have done some service? Or do I want them to have built something or given a report on something? What is the project that I want them to accomplish? So in our geography club, they actually did projects every single month when they would get together. They would do a presentation on a certain country. And then at the end of the year in December, we had a big Christmas around the world thing, and they would bring in the Christmas traditions for some other countries. So that was our biggest project, but every single month they were doing a project. So you need to decide how many projects. Is it going to be once in the semester, once in the year, once in the month? Or maybe even once every week or other week. And that brings me to another question. How long do you want to meet together? Is this a long-term club? Do you want it to go for years? Or is this something you just want to do for a couple of months for a short-term one project deal? Are they going to do some Lego creator competition, and that's the only reason you're doing the club for just a short time? Well, then there you go. But some clubs last for longer periods of time, depending on what the person is hoping to get out of the club. You're also going to want to ask yourself, how often do we meet? So oftentimes for clubs, I liked the once a month meeting or the every other week meeting. So maybe twice in a month. That was perfect for my schedule as a busy homeschool mom. I didn't want to be doing club meetings every single week. Otherwise, I might fizzle out. Another question you want to ask yourself is how much learning time is going to happen during the club meeting and how much hands-on time is going to happen. You want to have a good balance there. If it's too much sitting time, people stop wanting to come to the club. They have to have some hands-on time. There needs to be time where they're doing something together as a group or creating something individually. So you'll want to break that up. And a good gauge for that is actually to have some learning time. So usually there's a gathering time. That's sort of hands-on, chatty, whatever. Then there's the learning time, break it out to a hands-on time, and then learning time back to a hands-on time. And that's going to fill time for about a 1.5 to 2 hour club meeting. So keep that in mind, but usually to have 2 different hands-on times is really good, and 2 different learning times. Do you want your club to have outside of club learning time or project time? Some clubs require that. Sometimes people need to take home a project, work on it at home, and bring it back to club. That means your club is going to have homework. Most clubs are not super successful with homework because they are considered to be an extracurricular type of a thing, but maybe the people in your club are inspired enough that they would want to do those things for homework. Another thing is, if you are a homeschooler like we were, the club time might be adding to projects that you want to add as part of your academic day. So in that case, as homeschoolers, you could use that club time to enrich that personal learning time each day as you're working on your academics. Now, you also want to consider goal setting. Clubs are motivating when the people set goals that are part of the club. So they should be feeling a sense of leadership or at least ownership over their participation in the club. This means that they need to set goals. So you may want to set goals for the entire club, but then have them set personal goals too. Write them down, enclose them in an envelope, or maybe share them with a leader or mentor that's part of the club. And then they can hold themselves accountable to whoever knows about those goals on a regular basis. If a person sets a goal as part of the club, they will be more invested. And if they know that the club in general has a direction or a purpose that it's headed, they'll also be more invested as well. Clubs are so powerful, and when you start a club for your child, not only do they learn and bond with you, but you get to learn more things too. Trust me, I have learned so many things by heading clubs for my children. If this video about making a club was interesting to you, I'm pretty sure that you are going to love my next video all about parties and how to create a great party for your children. So when you're doing clubs, you might need to do parties as part of those projects. The video is called Great Summer Party Ideas for Kids. Click on that video now.